Good evening. I'd like to call to order a regular meeting of the Zoning Board of Appeals on Wednesday, July 9th at 7:30 p.m. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Mr. Lindsay.
Present.
Mr. Sesser.
Present.
Mr. Storovich.
Present.
Mr. Perry.
Present.
Mr. Clift.
Present.
Mr. Watts.
Present.
Mr. Green is absent. Mr. Jersey's present. Chairman Safaya.
Present.
I'd like to make a motion to excuse Mr. Green. He said he wasn't going to be here last meeting.
We have a motion by Secretary Jersey, support by Mr. Perry to excuse Mr. Green. All in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Green has been excused. This brings us to the adoption of the agenda tonight.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to adopt the agenda as written.
Support.
We have a motion by Secretary Jersey, support by Mr. Watts to approve the agenda as written. All in favor?
Aye.
The agenda has been approved. This brings us to the approval of the regular meeting minutes of June 11th and June 25th. They haven't been sent out yet. Can we get a motion to postpone?
I make a motion to postpone the June 11th and 25th meeting minutes to
July 23rd.
July 23rd.
Support.
We have a motion by Mr. Nesorowitz, support by Secretary Jersey to postpone the approval of the regular meeting minutes of June 11th and June 25th. All in favor?
Aye.
The approval has been postponed. This brings us to item 6. However, before we begin tonight, I wanted to notify the audience we're down one member tonight. Items 9 and 10 are use variances, and use variances require 6 yes votes, whereas the other items tonight require 5 yes votes. If there's anyone in the audience that would like to reschedule their item tonight for a full board, now is your opportunity. Not seeing anyone, we're going to move on to item 6.
Item 6, applicant William Tate, Representative William Tate, common description, 25531 Loretta. Variance is requested permission to construct a 20 foot by 20 foot, 400 square foot addition to an existing 26 foot by 26 foot, 676 square foot garage for a total of 1,076 square feet of accessory structure floor area.
Good evening. Thank you. Your microphone is on our end. Can you make sure it's on down there? Is the green light on?
There it is.
There we go.
Great.
Oh,
And,
okay.
and your name,
I'm
sir?
Denise Tate, 25531 Loretta Avenue,
Thank you.
Warren.
William Tate, 25531 Loretta in Warren.
Thank you. Please tell us what your request.
Okay, so what we're here today is we'd like to add the addition onto our garage. The package shows we have classic cars that we would like to house to park in our garage.
We've had my one truck stolen, and like one car I keep, my Challenger SRT. A neighbor down the street lost his, somebody stole it. And I don't want none of my stuff. I've got about $240,000 in cars sitting there. And I'd like to keep them all garaged up, and then my one right now has been kept at my neighbor's, and he's gonna need his garage back. For the summer, it's okay, but it's all covered up. I keep it sideways like this, her truck on an angle, and then mine, Jack, on the side, so nobody's gotta have a hard time getting those out of there.
And also, it helps us for storage fees to house any of the cars, for a monthly fee for a heated garage or a heated storage facility. You see in our package the cars that we do have. And also in our vicinity around our, about a mile radius, the garages that have been up in our neighborhood. We've been at our address for
Since 1985.
1985,
And we got married and we moved into Warren in 76.
in 1976, so we've been a Warren
And they-
resident all this time.
And some of these other garages are big, with a big tall roof. I'm not gonna have that. and they got a quarter of their backyard left, and I'll still have half of mine left. And it's all said and done, and I will be 21 feet from the fence.
From the fence line, and it's a straight shot back. The neighbors, they have a fence on their side, the neighbors has a fence on the other side.
And there's a garage
Um,
behind us, so nobody's gonna see
right.
anything.
We have Orr, which house two houses on that side, which their garage is half the side of our garage in the back. So it's not any detriment to any of the other neighbors in our vicinity. We do have attached letters from our neighbors around us, some of them, that said that they have no problem with it. They also enjoy the classic cars with us, so they don't have a problem. I know there were letters that were submitted to the other neighbors. I know some of them probably would not answer their doors. That we found a couple of the letters back in our mailbox thinking that they went to the wrong address. So they sent it back to our address in our mailbox. So that's what we're asking. I mean, we'd love to have this done. We have a lot of pride in our cars that we have, and, you know, for classic cars, you don't drive them all year round. It's only a summertime. So we have to store them somewhere.
Sure. Thank you for those comments. This is a public hearing. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak on this item? Not seeing anyone, I close the public portion of the meeting and turn it over to the board for discussion. I would like to point out the couple neighbor letters that are in the packet tonight.
5 of them.
Yeah, I see.
The one that's right next door, on
No,
the
he's
corner-
got something.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, we have them in the packet here. At this time, I'll turn it over to the board for discussion.
Mr. Chair, real quick to the petitioner. Mr. Tate, in your application, I noticed it stated 1,056 square feet, and I know we read into the record 1,076, so if we did make a motion.
I didn't add nothing.
I just didn't know if it was
I
1,056
have
was.
no idea exactly.
Okay,
Dennis, from the company, they drew it all up, so I have,
He submitted all the
he submitted
dimensions
everything. I didn't submit nothing,
previously.
sir.
so it looks like he submitted 1,056 square feet, and what we read was 1,076, so is 20 square feet gonna affect?
Yeah, our garage is
Yeah, the garage-
cinder block and brick
It's-
on the outside.
So I don't know if that's
So
the way it
it's
meant.
the total
Because it's-
outside or the inside is what that they were referring to.
Yeah, 'cause they're going for the outside. On the inside, it's smaller, 'cause it's 10 inches with cinder block and brick all the way around the garage. So I don't know if he counted from the outside or whatever.
See, on the
I don't know,
agenda, I see
Steve, could you
1,000,
add a little bit of clarification?
1,056, but it's posted for 1,076, a little bit larger.
It's been posted for 1,076 in the processing and everything else. I believe the contractor probably measured inside. Our ordinance requires outside, and it was posted properly at the 1,076.
Okay, thank you. Answers my question. I yield the floor.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Cliff?
to the petitioner, so I'm a little bit acquainted with the Tates and some of the other folks that I see letters from in the packet. Some of them run in the same car crew circles, so to say. I just want to go on the record to vouch that, the Tates aren't hoarders. We don't have a garage full of junk, and we're looking for someplace else to put some more junk. They're very meticulous. They care highly about their classic vehicles. They expressed to me in frustration the other evening, and poking around, I found 3 other people in their neighborhood that had recent damage done to their automobiles. due to the passage of this wonderful fireworks law where we got mortars and stuff falling out of the sky that weighs anywhere from a half a pound to a pound, denting hoods and roofs. I'm a victim of that myself. The size of their property, it's not gonna be a crowded situation. They're gonna have more room left than I had when I did the extension on my garage some years ago. So I don't have a problem getting behind this, whatever. There are several structures in the immediate vicinity of the Tates that are as large or larger than what they're asking for. So I don't think they're asking for anything out of the realm of reasonability. And with that, I'm gonna yield the floor.
Are there any other comments or discussion? I personally don't have a problem with it. I think it fits the character of the home and is a reasonable request.
If the board has any cell phones by their microphones or something, we're getting a lot of static back here, that if you can check that.
Not seeing any.
Seeing any, should be okay.
Went away already, so.
If nobody else has anything else to add to this item, I'd like to make a motion. I'd like to make a motion to grant the petitioner's request to construct a 20-foot by 20-foot, 400 square foot addition to an existing 26-foot by 26-foot, 676 square foot garage for a total of 1,076 square feet of accessory structure floor area. Due to the fact of the size and shape of the lot, it's not a detriment to the area.
I'll support that.
We have a motion by Secretary Jersey, support by Mr. Clift, to approve the request as read.
Mr. Jersey votes yes for the reasons stated in the motion. Mr. Clift?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Watts?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Lindsay?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Storovich?
Yes, for reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Perry?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Assessor?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Chairman Safaya?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion. Your request has been approved.
Thank you,
so much.
appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it very much.
Thank you. Have a good night. This brings us to item 7.
Item 7, applicant Dow Farm, Representative Dow Farm, common description 4553 13 mile. Variance has requested permission to retain a 23-foot by 24-foot of hard surface in front yard for widened driveway.
Good evening,
Yes, my name Dow, last name Farm, Dow Farm.
and your address, please.
4553 East 13 Mile Road, Warren, MI 48092.
Thank you. Please tell us about your request.
I request is my construct in the front house. I just did about 2005, long time ago, before my mom, my dad, and now my mom, my dad died. Still in there. But couple years ago, for my front yard, for the gas leak, the city water just come and he just do it. And the guy inspector he told me, why you just do the new one in there? I told him the gas leak, the city water can come to do it. That's why the new cement. He told me about that and he gave me the ticket to go that.
Thank you for those comments.
Yeah.
This is a public hearing. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to speak on this item?
Yeah.
Sir, could you step to the side? Could you state your name and address for the record, please?
Yeah, my name's Michael Kurlick. I live at 4541, directly next door to the neighbor.
Yes.
He has multiple drivers in there. He has a single driveway. Living on 13 Mile Road, we have no street parking like the subdivisions. He maintains his property. He does not. Other side of me, over the past years, there's been renters. I had to buy them a lawnmower to cut their grass. The back of the house, it grew for a year. So when the new guy bought it, it took him 2 weeks to get the lawn back. He keeps his property up, never had a problem. The other house, I wish they had front parking. I put sprinkler system in, they ran over it 3 times, broke them. So I have no objection to him parking. Sometimes 13 Mile Road, depending on the time of the day, it's either a speedway, which the Warren PD is now monitoring, and sometimes with traffic, it's tough to get out, backing out onto 13. So he doesn't store his vehicles in front, he parks there. He has grown adult kids. So single driveway is, I have a double driveway and I love it. So I have a lot of parking. So I don't, but him, keeps his lawn up, not a problem. Good neighbor.
Thank you for those comments.
Yep.
This is a public hearing. Is there anyone else in the audience who would like to speak on this item? Not seeing anyone, I close the public portion of the meeting and turn it over to the board for discussion.
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Lindsay?
I've said it before, I really appreciate hearing from neighbors, from the community, on how this affects them. Generally, I don't like seeing the cement in the front yard like that, but I definitely understand you being on a main road with a single driveway. You have no other place to park. This is tastefully done. I really wish, you know, you would've went through the proper channels with the city to get a permit before it's done, but I can't see, you know, trying to get the petitioner to tear this up. I don't really have any issues with it. I yield the floor.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Watts?
to the petitioner, how many cars do you have?
So they got 4 cars,
4 cars.
yes.
Okay.
Because sometimes my brother, he come home, you know, he park in mall.
I understand that.
Yeah.
But we're having a problem across the city with people paving their yards, with multiple families moving in. And there's one just down the street from him, I noticed when I went and looked at this yesterday. And we had the same problem across 13 Mile and Bowie, that the gentleman had to take it out. I think we're headed in and I understand your situation.
Yes, sir.
I understand. And I understand your fine neighbor there sticking up for you. I know what he's talking about. But we just can't have people paving their yards. This is a detriment to the area, to the neighborhoods. And if we let one go, everybody in the city's gonna be paving their front yards. And it's not right. We're gonna have to deal with this. So I'm gonna be a no vote on this, so. Thank you.
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Storrs?
you know, I find it always very challenging for any resident in the city that lives on any of the mile roads, because the cars speed along there so fast. I mean, I know I know people that live along the service drive of 696, and speed limit says 40, cars are going 45, 50. And when you don't have any parking, I do agree that we can't have front lawns paved over. And within subdivisions, I would totally be against it. But in areas like this, you can't park on 13 Mile. Cars are speeding on 13 Mile. It's like, if the city needs to almost have a plan of how do you want to address something similar for anybody that lives in that kind of situation when you're on a main mile road where you're stuck with no parking and no space and all that. Because, you know, then we could all say at least, you know, treat
It's
everybody the
uniform.
same in that and uniform. The problem is the city doesn't have an answer for it. You know, it's, so in this case, I mean, driving by, the house is well kept, the neighbor does a good, I mean, he does a good job. And, you know, I would tend to support this one.
Mr. Chair?
Secretary Jersey?
So I kind of err on the same side as Mr. Watts is, you know, I discussed this last meeting too, when this came up about us paving into green space, and, you know, we're losing green space in this city at a rapid rate. And if we did this to every house, even along main thoroughfares, we'd be losing even more green space. He's got 4 cars on his premises. He's got a 2-car garage. He's got it bricked. He's got it paved all the way around. He could put a car on the side, on an angle, to get 2 cars out of the garage. You'd still have plenty of room to get out. Even if he did it, I wouldn't be against him if he did it as tastefully as his neighbor did, just to create a double thing. But he's got a parking lot on his front lawn, in my opinion. I mean, so of course it's well kept because it's all cement. All he has to do is throw some, you know, Roundup on his front, and he's done. So I don't see 4 cars being enough for a hardship to pave your front lawn. That's my opinion. To me, I'm a no vote against this, but I would strongly request maybe the petitioner reevaluate the situation and try and get to maybe a double wide instead of a 3-4 wide, you know, spot in your front lawn, kind of like how his neighbor did. If you look at the image that was provided to us in the backup, you go down the street, there's probably a couple other ones that are probably, you know, maybe don't have a variance either, but they have just enough to get a second car by. there's not a 3-wide parking lot in front of the house. So there's other ways to go about this, other than the way the petitioner did. But I'd respectfully deny this, but I would be open to him coming back with an auxiliary plan to maybe have a little bit more, not as much, but maybe enough to where he can get a second car around, where it's double wide just in the front of the house. I don't know, but to me, this seems excessive, and I'm a no vote.
Thank you for those comments.
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Cliff?
to the petitioner, I had a hard time understanding you in your opening monologue, sir, so I need to ask a couple questions for clarity, okay?
Yes, sir.
When did the pad go down initially? When did you initially put the cement down?
2005, before my mom, my dad still alive.
Okay, so 20 years ago,
Yeah, 20
you
years
put
over,
that pavement
more.
down,
Yes.
and then somebody came along recently, did some utility work, and they had to replace the one square that makes it look new, and that raised the question.
Yes,
Have I
sir.
got that correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
If I get like leaking,
I
the city come in.
I see. All right, I was trying to get the timeline down here, because I want to reiterate to my colleagues on the board, he's not asking to put it in. It was initially put in 20 years ago. 20 years went by, nobody said anything. All of a sudden, somebody sees a new patch of concrete, and now they're gonna violate him for it. So all he's asking to do is to retain what has been there for the last 20 years. I don't have a problem voting yes on your petition this evening, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Any other comments from the board? I think that's an important distinction Mr. Cliff made. I would not usually get behind this, given the size of the lot and the concrete being the majority of the front yard. But given that it's been there for 20 years, I could see the argument for that. I would usually say that I like it to be a 2-car driveway, like the others you see on the aerial view with a couple neighbors. I think there's 2 or 3 on the aerial view, that it's more tastefully done.
Mr. Chair, I'd also like to reiterate that there is no permit required for flat work outside of the easement area in the city of Warren. Had there been an ordinance in place that requires permitting for flat work or concrete work within the city, this likely would never have happened, and I'll yield the floor.
I'd also like to add to the fact that if maybe our departments were properly staffed, that this wouldn't take 20 years to catch. So I'll yield the floor on that.
Mr. Chair.
No,
Mr. Watts?
we don't have that over there.
So-
Single.
Like I said before, I understand the situation. But if you're gonna do it on 13 mile, you're gonna do it on 12 mile, you're gonna do it on 11 mile, whatever the road is, half miles, we're gonna have a problem. And we already have a problem 4 or 5 doors down that somebody moved in there and just paved it, fresh. I checked, there's no permit on it, and it's gonna come for us before a variance. And like I say, just across the street, on one of the side streets, we had the same situation. Honestly, I've talked to a lot of people about this, but we're setting a dangerous precedent allowing this. I feel sorry for this gentleman, because it's been there for 20 years, but like I say, guy down the street moves in, he sees that, he paves his. Now what do we do? And then the next guy, and the next guy, before you know it, all the 13 mile is paved. You know, residents are tired, very tired of this kind of stuff. You know, from a guy that's out there and sees what's going on with the community, people are really getting tired. So, I yield.
Any other discussion or possible motions from the board? No, I'm sorry, the public portion has been closed.
Mr. Chair, if there's no other comments, I'd like to make a motion.
Please do.
I'd like to make a motion to grant the variances requested, to retain a 23-foot by 24-foot of hard surface in front yard for widened driveway, due to the fact that the ordinance as it is would cause unreasonable burden. The property is unique, and I do think it's necessary living on the main road.
And I'll support that.
We have a motion by Mr. Lindsay, support by Mr. Cliff, to approve the request as read.
Mr. Lindsay.
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Cliff.
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Storovich?
Yes, for reasons stated in motion.
Mr. Perry?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Assessor?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Watts?
No, I think it's a detriment to the neighborhood and it needs to be resolved. Thank you.
Mr. Jersey also votes no. I believe it's also a detriment to the area. Chairman Sfia?
No, I believe it's a detriment to the area. It's too large. But nonetheless,
Still passed, 1, 2, 3.
the item is still passed, 5-3.
5 to 3.
Thank you. Your item has been approved. This brings us to item 8.
Item 8, applicant City of Warren, Representative Stephen Campbell, City of Warren, common description 142179 mile. Variance is requested permission to install 133 feet of 6 foot high chain link fence in the front setback and in front of the front building line.
Good evening.
City of Warren, Public Service.
Thank
This is a public-owned, city-owned building, 14279 Mile. We're in the process right now of rehabbing the building. Our intention is to move our property maintenance inspectors down there, which would include all of their personal vehicles and city vehicles. We want to enclose that area to protect those vehicles from any damage from vandalism or theft or anything like that. So we're asking for that variance of the fence to move forward to make enough room for parking for those vehicles.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is a public hearing. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to speak on this item? Not seeing anyone, I close the public portion of the meeting and turn it over to the board for discussion.
Mr. Chair, to the petitioner, is the fence already up?
No, it is not.
It's not up already? That's all I have.
It looks like a pretty routine
Yeah.
request. Are there any other comments, or
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Watts?
I don't know, maybe I had the wrong building, but I was by there yesterday. And I thought the fence was already up for some reason.
There are some fence posts going up, but the fence is not up yet.
There was black fencing up around the building that looked like it had a bunch of control panels.
There's no fencing around the building at this time.
And this is right on 9 Mile, right?
That's correct. It's right next to the Montessori School. It's just east of the
Right.
Montessori School. It adjoins the Montessori School property.
All right, I must have been looking at the wrong building then, so. Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, if no other board members have any comments, I'd like to make a motion. I'd like to make a motion to grant the petitioner permission to install 133 feet of 6 foot high chain link fence in the front setback and in front of the front building line due to the fact the size and shape of the lot and not a detriment to the area.
Support.
We have a motion by Secretary Jersey that was supported by Mr. Perry to approve the request as read.
Mr. Jersey votes yes for the reasons stated in the motion. Mr. Perry?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Nestorovich?
Yes, for reasons stated in motion.
Mr. Sesser?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Clift?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Watts?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Lindsay?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
And Chairman Safaya?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion. The request has been approved.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Have a nice night.
Thank you. Good luck. This brings us to item 9.
Item 9, applicant Fisnik Nazarko, Representative Fisnik Nazarko, common description 23625 Van Dyke. Variance is requested permission to allow a dental lab in a C2 zoning district, and that's a use.
Hey there.
Good evening.
I'm Matilda Nazarko, Fisnik Nazarko. We are here for
And your address, please.
23265 Van Dyke. It's currently a vet office. We are trying to convert into a dental lab. We do have a purchase agreement. We realized it is a commercial zone. They're saying a dental lab should be industrial or like a light industrial, M1, M2. So we are trying to see if we can get a variance. If we do buy the property, there won't be any changes made. They think dental lab is gonna be something that's loud and have a bunch of machinery. It's not gonna be like that. There are some photos there. Everything that we do, it's more digital, and it's more computerized, so there isn't gonna be any loud noises. As I said, it is a vet right now, and it's next door to a auto shop and a bar. So there's not gonna be those types of noises. So we're just trying to do that. I know they wanted commercial people to come in and out of the building. Possibly, we will be doing that, because in a dental lab, people do come and get like shades of their teeth checked out, sometimes different impressions. So people will still be coming in and out. And then also, just kind of for the community, the area right now, as I said, the man is retiring as a vet, so not that many people are going in and out of the building. So we do want to add to the community. I did talk to Tom Bomarito. I know they're trying to develop that area, so we just want to add to it, you know, bring people in there. Also, we do like the building, the location. My husband and I have been looking for quite some time to do this for us. It's kind of one of our dreams. So it's a good building, it's a good location, we're by the freeway. Also, there are about 400 dentists in the Warren area, and there is one dental lab. The dental lab also is commercial, so I'm assuming they also came here to get a variance to use that. So that's pretty much the gist of it. I'm not really sure if you guys need anything else from us. Is there anything you want to add, honey? No? Okay.
All right,
He's a talker.
Thank you for those comments. This is a public hearing. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak on this item? Not seeing anyone, I close the public portion of the meeting and turn it over to the board for discussion. I do just have a question for my own knowledge. What is the difference between a dental office and a dental lab? Are patients going into a dental lab?
They do, as I said, like for shades, impressions, things like that. But pretty much the dentist, when you get a crown, let's say, or a partial, they take impressions, they send it to us, he makes them, sends them back to the lab, to the dentist. That's about it.
Okay.
Just
Mr.
all different
Watchapont, did you have
appliances.
something to
Hi, Steve.
add?
Hello.
Nice to see you.
The main reason is because they're doing manufacturing processing here is the main purpose of the business. It is not more of a commercial use, it's more manufacturing, which would be an industrial zone. But this would be very, very light manufacturing, and I believe the board approved one at 11 Mile and Shaner is where the other lab is, which is another commercial building.
Okay, great. Thank you for clarifying. In my mind, this is a less intensive use, and by no means do I consider this industrial.
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Watts?
go ahead.
Go ahead.
I think this is a good fit. You know, I'm down in that area a lot, so it's nice to see a building being cleaned up and used. And I think, you know, according to what Mr. Watchapont said, I understand that, but I think that's where we have a problem with our zoning laws. And I don't see a problem with this, so
Thank you.
hope it all works out for you. Thank you.
so much.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to add to the fact that we've had this discussion multiple times about the difference between C2 and M2 and how close it is, and it's just another thing that comes before our desk, just making us aware that we need to try and change what the or merge it or just eliminate M2 altogether. I don't know, but doesn't seem to be fair to people to keep coming before us when we aren't changing the zoning in certain areas. So I agree too. I think it's a good use. I just had one quick question. Is there any X-rays or anything going on, like
No.
radioactive?
No.
No, nothing. Okay, all right. That's the only concern. Like initially, I had. I mean, not a huge concern, but again, it's a good use for the building. The building's been vacant for a while. That area definitely needs more businesses and people to take ownership, like you folks have wanted to invest in the property. So thank you for doing so, and thank you for coming up with such a great, looks like a great idea and a great fit for a building that could sit vacant, who knows for how long. I could definitely probably support this. I'll yield the floor.
Thank you. Any other comments or motions?
Nobody else has any other comments? I'd like to make a motion. I'd like to make a motion to grant permission to the applicant to allow a dental lab in a C2 zoning district due to the fact of the size and shape of the lot, and it's also not a detriment to the area.
Support.
We have a motion by Secretary Jersey, support by
Mr. Assessor.
Mr. Assessor to approve the request as read.
Mr. Jersey votes yes for the reasons stated in the motion. Mr. Assessor.
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Clift.
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Watts.
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Lindsay.
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Stovich.
Yes, for reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Perry.
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
And Chairman Safaya.
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion. Your request has been approved.
Thank you.
so much. Have a good night.
Thank you. Good luck. This brings us to item 10.
Item 10, applicant Ginkgo Property Group LLC, Representative Karen Birdie, common description, 11 Mile. Variance is requested permission to, 1, allow a 3-unit triplex multifamily R3 use dwelling in a C2 zoning district, that's a use. 2, allow a lot area of 12,600 square feet, 4,600 square feet less than the ordinance requires, that's a use. 3, allow a 24-foot front setback, 11 feet less than the ordinance requires, that's a use as well.
Good evening.
Good evening. Karen Birdie. My address is 28225 Mound Road, Warren, Michigan, 48092. With me tonight is Mr. Haig of Ginkgo Property Group. He's here in the audience. This is a project that is located on the corner of 11 Mile and Blackmar. I'm unable to give you an address yet because one hasn't been assigned. It's vacant property there. And Blackmar is a residential street, and I think everybody knows that 11 Mile is a collector road. This property is zoned C2 currently, and right on the corner where the residential property is. And I don't know if you've got my letter that I submitted with my application, but I went through and I listed what could be built in the C2 district at the end of a residential street. And it's things like fruit market, grocery store, delicatessen, drugstore, gas station, oil service station, banks, lawyer's office, dentist office, places that have showrooms like electricians, decorator offices. The list goes on and on. Car wash, antennas, etc. But that's not what this neighborhood needs. Quite frankly, it's a residential neighborhood, and we want to work with the neighbors to put in a use that is conducive to their neighborhood. I assure you that my client, Mr. Haig, has been working with the residences on that street for quite some time, and the residences do not want a C2 use to go in there. So what we propose to you tonight is a multiple use for 3 units, 3 townhouses. Each one of these townhouses is 1,600 square feet, and that doesn't include the garage. They're 3 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, and quite frankly, they measure up to what is built in that neighborhood, being 1,600 feet with the 3 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, etc. What's important with this project is this is Blackmar, the residential street. This is 11 Mile. We have all our traffic coming and going off of 11 Mile. This is out of respect for the residences. We have 3 residences here, all having garages. So they would have garages here. I know that I'm not the greatest of colorers, but what I was trying to show by marking this green area is that we have 4 times the required green space for this project, 4 times. Most of your residences that are on Blackmar take up 50 to 75% of their lot when they build on it. Our project takes up 24% of the lot. The rest of this lot is green space or space for, if you will, parking of cars, going in and out of garages, And we have moved all that from the residences out in the back and on 11 Mile. This is so that we can keep the street, if you will, in its residential type of nature. We believe that by reducing the zoning, in other words, we're going from C2 down to a multiple residential use, we're actually going down 3 zones. But we believe that this is the right project for that area, and we believe that it's the least intensive use, the least disturbing to the neighborhood. The importance of the setback, where we need 11 feet variance, is because we wanted to make sure that we didn't end up putting, if you will, the parking over by the neighbors or the dumpster over by the neighbors. We wanted the front of these residences to face Blackmar, and we needed enough room here for cars to turn in and out and to get in and out of the garages. And that's the reason that we need the setback from the front of 11 feet. We could configure this differently, but it would not be as good a plan where you've got everything away from the residential street. As I stated, the petitioner's been working closely with the neighbors. In front of you, I was able to drop off 3 letters of people that told us that they were in support of the project, could not come to the meeting tonight. We encouraged them to write letters. In front of each of you, on item 10, there's the 3 letters that are from those neighbors. It's my understanding there are also neighbors here tonight in support, and a letter came in tonight that I dropped off. It was brought here to the meeting, and I asked for it to be put with Mr. Jersey as the secretary, and so I asked that those letters be considered and made part of the official file. Now, I don't know if some of you were on the board or if you recall, this item was before you in the past, and it was 4 units. And I believe from reading the record, I did not represent this item, but from reading the record, what the board was asking for was a reduction from the 4. I think that my client took that to heart, worked on a good plan. He did work a lot with the Ron Worth at planning to make sure that they put together the best plan they could. He ran it by the neighbors, and we're down to 3 units. This, we feel, is a fair usage of the property. Like I said, we're only using 24% of the lot to build on. The rest of it is, besides the driveway and the area where the cars pull in and out, the rest of it is green space, 4 times what's required. So I would ask you to look at this item in a favorable way, and if there are any questions, I'll be available.
Thank you. Thank you for those comments. This is a public hearing. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak on this item? Good evening.
Good evening.
Your name and address, please.
Alan Johnson, 26719 Blackmar. I'm in support of this. I call it an improvement because a lot of people don't understand the current zoning would be a detriment to the area. With that size of lot and you put a car wash or something that's open 24/7, that's not gonna help. That's not gonna enhance the community. So I'm in support of this because it'll be a great asset to the community. Thank you.
Thank you. This is a public hearing. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak on this item? Not seeing anyone, I close the public portion of the meeting. I'll turn it over to Secretary Jersey to read the couple letters into the record and the planning, summarize the planning impact statement.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So the first statement is from Rhonda Johnson, who resides at 26719 Blackmar. She says, I don't like seeing a vacant lot at the corner. It looks so empty. I feel having the townhouses would be a beautiful site and would benefit our neighborhood. I think approving this would be a great asset to our block. Thank you, Rhonda Johnson. So next one is from looks like a Wilma Duncan, I believe, at 26687 Blackmar. I'm writing to support the variance request for the proposed project. The lot is currently zoned commercial, but I would rather see it used for residential purposes. We already have enough commercial and industrial properties nearby. I don't want any more commercial businesses moving closer to our neighborhood. I believe this project would help our area residential and family-friendly neighborhood. Please approve the variance. Wilma Duncan. Next one is from, says, my name is Kamal Al-Turki and I reside at 26735 Blackmar. I recently received a letter regarding the proposed variance request for the development at the corner of 11 Mile Road in Blackmar. Unfortunately, I'm unable to attend the meeting in person, but I would like to take a moment to express my full support for the proposal. That lot has remained vacant for as long as I can remember. Although it is currently zoned for commercial use, I strongly believe that a residential development would be a much better fit for our neighborhood. Our area is predominantly residential, and maintaining that character is important to many of us who live here. A well-planned residential project like this one would not only complement the existing surroundings, but also enhance the overall appearance and value of the area. I sincerely urge the board to grant the necessary variances to allow this project to move forward. Sincerely, Kamal Al-Turki. And the next one is from, it says, my name is Stephen J. Hunyadi, and I live at 26073 Blackmar Avenue. Although I could not be present at tonight's meeting, I want to submit this letter to express my strong support for the proposal currently under consideration and to encourage the board to grant the necessary variance. We are a residential area, and over the last couple of years, we've started to see more families moving into our neighborhood. We're seeing more young children outside playing. It's been a wonderful revitalization for our community. There is a renewed sense of life and promise, and it's important to continue that progress in a way that aligns with the residential nature of our area. Just one block east of us is a commercial development, primarily medical. On the other side of the road, everything is zoned for commercial and industrial use. I believe that's close enough. I don't want commercial business any closer to our homes than they already are. This proposal, as presented, supports the vision we have for our neighborhood, one that is focused on family safety and community. It keeps our area residential and helps move us in the direction of rebuilding the kind of neighborhood we want to live in. I respectfully ask for your vote of confidence in granting the necessary variance for this project. This is an important step towards preserving and strengthening the character of our community. Thank you for your time and consideration, Stephen J. Hyundai. And then from the Planning Department, Planning Department says, after review of the request, no issues were found to impact the budding local or general public. The petitioner received site plan approval with the conditions for residential triplex dwelling building at the April 7, 2025 Planning Commission meeting. During the public hearing portion of that meeting, several neighboring residents to the property voiced their opinions about the proposed triplex. All of them strongly in support of this residential development. Attached are the findings and recommendations. And that's all I have, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. At this time, I'll turn it over to the board for discussion.
Mr. Chair, real quick, you know, this did come before us before, and we did, you know, Ms. Birdie is correct in her statement that we were looking for like a less impactful use on that property. I'm also in full agreement that any business that goes in there is just gonna die on the vine. I mean, with the way traffic is there, I mean, there's no way to advertise the business or anything. All it's gonna do is just negatively impact that abutting neighborhood. So I was never for initially a business going in there. So I want to go on the record saying that. I do believe that there should be housing there. The initial plan was, I think, just too impactful. I think we had issues regarding parking, we had issues regarding drainage and, you know, the pipes and stuff like that. So I really think this has really been very well thought out, and it's left a lot of space. Nothing's really jammed in there. We're not trying to fit eight properties into a shoebox. And I really think this has been very well thought out by your client, Ms. Birdie. So I would be in favor of this unless somebody else sees something I don't. But I just think that in that neighborhood, there should be some kind of housing. you know, just, I don't even understand why that's even zoned that way. Kind of makes, it's kind of puzzling, but, that, for that neighborhood, there should not be some business, and God knows what business, because the list is endless, but, I'm definitely in favor of this. I think it's very well thought out, and very well presented, so I'll yield the floor.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair?
Mr. Watts?
So, I'm really familiar with this area. I had a business way back. That property's been vacant as long as I can ever remember it. I actually knew the guy that built the couple of multi-story apartments more closer to Mound Road there. And, you know, we wound up with a lot of, for lack of better terms, we wound up with a lot of scrap property when the freeway came through. So to be able to develop this, get it on the tax rolls, at least a little more than we're getting now, I think that this is an ideal situation there, because I can attest that nobody's opening a business over there unless they want to see their fate, so. But I think this is a good use of that, and I think it'll work out well. Thank you.
Thank you. Just out of curiosity, Ms. Birdie, do you know if these units have a basement?
They do not have a basement.
Okay, usually
And
they-
there used to be a requirement for a basement, but the city changed that ordinance.
Okay, that makes sense. Usually the duplex and triplexes don't have that. Anytime we can have a zoning designation lower than what's required, I think it's always a good thing, especially with the feedback from the community.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Cliff?
good evening, Ms. Birdie, how are you?
Good, thank you.
So I ran through and I did a lot of reading, and I do like the appearance of this from the outset. I just got one question. Are we building these to put owner occupants in them, or are we building them as rentals?
Yes, he's talking about selling them. And then, he was considering that maybe, in the future, making them where there's an association as a condo, as owners condos. He's also playing with that idea.
But currently, there's no title restriction for 3 or 4 or 5 years for them to be owner-occupied units. They can be built and rented out
No.
as soon as they're finished, right?
No restrictions.
Okay, that's all I have to say, thank you.
No other board members have anything else to say? I'd like to make a motion. I'd like to make a motion to grant permission to allow a 3-unit triplex multifamily R3 use dwelling in a C2 zoning district. 2, allow a lot area of 12,600 square feet, 4,600 square feet less than the ordinance requires. And 3, allow a 24-foot front setback, 11 feet less than the ordinance requires, due to the fact of the size and shape of the lots in the project requires these variances to jumpstart the project, and it's not a detriment to the area.
Support.
We have a motion by Secretary Jersey, support by Mr. Nestorowitz to approve the request as read.
Mr. Jersey votes yes for the reasons stated in the motion. Mr. Storovich?
Yes, for reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Perry?
Yes for the stated in the motion.
Mr. Assessor?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Clift?
I'm gonna vote yes for the reasons stated in the motion, but I do it begrudgingly.
Mr. Watts?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Lindsay?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Chairman Safai?
Yes for the reasons stated in the motion. Request has been approved.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. This brings us to item 11.
Item 11, applicant Agree Development LLC, Josh Bratton, Representative Mandy Goss, common description 26100 Groesbeck. Variances requested, permission to install the following signage: a 74.69 inch by 60 inch, 31.12 square foot wall sign on the west elevation of the building. 2, a 20.38 inch by 104.56 inch, 14.80 square feet wall sign on the west elevation of the building. 3, a 8 inch by 59 inch, 3.27 square foot wall sign on the west elevation of the building. 4, 89.63 inch by 72 inch, 44.81 square feet wall sign on the east elevation of the building. 5, 8-inch by 59-inch, 3.27 square foot wall sign on the east elevation of the building. 6, 104.56 inch by 84 inch, 61 square foot wall sign on the north elevation of the building. 7, a 104.56 inch by 84 inch, 61 square foot wall sign on the south elevation of the building. 8, a 34 inch by 26 inch, 6.114 square foot wall sign on the south elevation of the canopy. 9, a 136 inch by 26 inch, 24.56 square foot wall sign on the west elevation of the canopy. 10, 1,128 feet by 36 inch, 3,384 square feet design element on the canopy. 11, 4 gas pumps with 37.81 square feet of signage each, and 2 gas pumps with 36.08 square feet of signage each, for a total of 223.40 square feet of pump signage. 12, a second ground sign on the property that is 20 foot high with a 15-foot setback with a 61.38 inch by 118.5 inch, 50.51 square feet of signage, with condition that the existing ground sign with the off-site signage will be modified to remove the upper portion of the signage that was for Frazo Plaza and retain the 48 square feet of signage for the apartment complex that was previously granted a variance. Signage requested includes 249.97 square feet of wall signage, 3,384 square feet of design element, 223.40 square feet of pump signage, for an overall total of 3,857.37 square feet of wall signage, as well as a 50.51 square foot and a 48 square foot ground sign, for a total of 98.51 square feet of ground signage.
Wow. Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Mandy Goss. I'm with CESO. Address is 13060 South US Highway 27 in DeWitt, Michigan, 48820. Thank you for having us here tonight to discuss this project and the signage associated with it. The site plan has been approved at Planning Commission, and part of the condition was to come in front of you guys for the signage approval, since obviously it is above what your code does allow. Per your code, I know you guys only allow a total of 140 square foot wall sign, and that includes the wall canopy and the vinyl striping on the canopy. And then for the freestanding, it's one sign at 75 square feet. So the request that we have in front of you today, I'll start with the freestanding sign just to kind of point out what is there today. Currently out there right now, there is a 228 square foot sign at the corner. It's right at the main corner at Frazo and Groesbeck. And with that sign currently today, we are looking to take the larger blue sign off the top, which is 180 square feet. And we have to leave the Regency Club arrow sign. It is an easement, and it's part of the agreement with the purchase agreement with the seller. So that has to remain on site. We cannot remove that. So with this request, we're looking to remove the old variance that allows the larger 228 square feet and put in a new variance for just the Regency arrow sign at the corner, and then a second sign for the Speedway, which is a goalpost sign that is just over 50 square feet. It was 50.51 square feet in size. So if it was not for this one sign that we have to keep due to the purchase agreement, as it sits today, the sign that we're proposing would actually meet the size requirements. So I just kind of wanted to point that out. Where we're proposing our sign is actually in the middle of our frontage, along Groesbeck. So with that, we're not going to impact the existing sign. We're going to leave it exactly where it sits, just cut the top of it off where the blue is and leave the existing arrow as it sits. So I just wanted to point that out. So that is the request as it pertains to the freestanding signage. Now I'll go into the wall signage. What we're looking for is to have a Speedway sign on all 4 sides of the building. There is parking on all 4 sides of this building. With this request, there is on the 2 sides of the building, there is a 7-foot tall Speedway logo sign. You can kind of see it here on the 2 ends. In the back, that sign is smaller. The rear one is, sorry, only 6 feet tall, and then the one in the front is actually 5 feet tall with the Speedway Channel letter sign underneath it. There is a welcome vinyl sign on the rear and the front above the doorways. There is access to this building from the back of the site and from the front of the site. There is not an access on the side, so just to point that out. Again, the large number that you see here, the 3,384 square feet, that is the standard gray striping that you see, and the vinyl red stripe on the top, and the vinyl gray striping you see on the Speedway canopy. It's pretty prototypical to the brand of Speedway. So that is that larger, again, that is just vinyl. It is not lit, or not illuminated. So that is the request for the vinyl striping. And then the gas pumps, again, we're pretty prototypical to what you would see at a Speedway gas station. It has the S logo sign on the bottom of the dispenser, and then it has a valance on the top of the dispenser for different advertising, like this type of offerings that are there. So again, pretty prototypical signage that you would see at a Speedway site. We look forward to coming to the neighborhood, and we would hope that we can get some of the signage approved so that it can be a visual for the vehicles. I know Groesbeck is very heavily traveled with multiple lanes, so it is important for vehicles to know which lane to get over before they get there, so they're not jerking over last second, cutting somebody off trying to enter the site. That's never fun. So signage is definitely an important part of the project.
Thank you for those comments. This is a public hearing. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak on this item? Not seeing anyone, I close the public portion of the meeting and turn it over to the board for discussion.
Mr. Chair, I just have a quick question for Steve. If you could, please, sir.
Yes, sir.
So I see there's a bunch of existing variances on the property. One to operate a medical training facility, another, you know, a few others regarding signage. Is there any way to, I guess, take some of this off with the new project? I mean, is this all gonna be kind of rescinded with the new project, or?
Basically, we asked for everything they wanted. I think the existing ground signs even being asked for here, even though it has a variance. So you can rescind all of that.
I'm just trying to clean stuff up, so.
I appreciate that
So-
100%. I believe they are willing to rescind everything that is there going forward.
That's on the record? Is that accurate, ma'am?
Yes, as long as we can get that Regency, the biggest thing is we need to have that Regency arrow sign remaining, which is the 48 square foot at the corner, as well as our Speedway goalpost sign. So we will, like the 180 square foot, that blue one on top of that arrow sign, that we will be removing.
I actually don't even see a variance for it in the packet, is there?
I see one. I assume it's this big shopping
The-
center sign,
Yeah,
the 180 square foot.
Okay, yep.
Yeah, the Regency sign is a off-premise sign that does have a variance as well. So if it's not written that way, it would probably have to be modified to say that, to retain that off-premise sign,
To retain the off-premise sign and then relinquish everything else?
and then relinquish everything else.
Thank you, Steve.
Again, as long as they're good with it. And
I'm good with it.
I-
I mean, that's-
The attorney might want to agree with me or disagree with me too, but.
no,
I agree, and I think it cleans things up moving forward.
Any other comments from the board? This looks like a pretty routine
Mr. Chair?
request, other than the second monument sign. Mr. Cliff?
Yeah, I just want to go on the record. Our standing ordinances allow for a total of 115 square feet of signage at this property. And what the petitioner is asking for is a total of 3,955.86 square feet of signage for the property. which leads us to a 3,840.86 square foot of variance that we're gonna have to grant in order to accommodate commercial customs and general practices that are now in place nationwide due to our antiquated sign ordinances. And I yield the floor.
Any other comments from the board or motions? Whoever
I have another quick question for Steve. Regarding the design element portion, I think
Yes.
just like Harbor Freight, I think we had it as a design element as well. Does that go with the land forever, or is it?
That goes with the land, but it cannot be, it can only be design element and cannot be verbiage or direct advertising.
Or actual signage or
Yes.
things of that nature? Okay, thanks for the clarification.
Thank you. Whoever makes the motion tonight, if-
Whoever makes the motion could just read it as presented or written on the agenda. Doesn't have to read, you don't have to read every line item. Is that correct, Madam Attorney?
That is correct, with the addition of rescinding all previous
Rescinding-
variances, but for
Retaining
the
the
off-site sign.
off-premises sign, correct. Okay, I'll make the motion. I'll make a motion to grant the petitioner the variances requested as presented or written, and to relinquish all current variances on the property except for the one to retain the off-premise sign granted at the meeting of 10/8/86.
Support, Mr. Assessor.
Does that sound accurate? Is that okay?
just the lower portion of that sign.
Just the lower portion of that sign, correct. Due to the fact of the size and shape of the lot, and it's not a detriment to the area.
Support, Mr. Assessor.
We have a motion by Secretary Jersey, support by Mr. Assessor to approve the request as read.
Mr. Jersey votes yes for the reasons stated in the motion. Mr. Assessor?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Perry?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Clift?
I'm gonna vote no because it's an overreach in excess compared to what the ordinance states.
Mr. Watts?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Lindsay?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Stovich?
I also vote no, along with Mr. Cliff saying it is excessive signage.
Chairman Safaya?
Yes for the reasons stated in the motion. Your request has been approved.
Thank you.
Thank you. This brings us to item 12.
Item 12, applicant Sheets Incorporated by Andrew Sawicki. Hopefully I said that right. Representative, Zoning Resources Rebecca Green, common description 31925 Van Dyke. Variance is requested permission to install the following signage. A, 1, a 74.31 inch high by 62.5 inch, 32.25 square foot menu board sign with a 17.25 inch underclearance. 2, a 13-foot high order point sign with a total of 42.3 square feet of signage and an 11.75 inch underclearance. 3, a 18-foot high clearance sign with 2 feet by 11.33 feet, 22.66 square feet signage and an 11-foot underclearance, for a total of 97.21 square feet of ground signage for items 1, 2, and 3, in addition to a proposed 104.4 square foot pylon sign, which has a previous variance. Overall ground signage to be 201.61 square feet. 4, gas pump signage, 12.48 square feet. Valance signage area, 12.125 skirt signage area, 24.6 square feet per, 24.6 square feet per gas pump on 7 gas pumps for a total of 172.2 square feet of pump signage. 5, a 22 inch by 9 foot, 16.50 square foot wall sign on the east elevation of the building. 6, a 22-inch by 9-foot, 16.5 square foot wall sign on the west elevation of the building. 7, a 19.63-inch by 8-foot, 13.09 square foot wall sign on the east elevation of the canopy. And 8, a 19.63-inch by 8-foot, 13.09 square foot wall sign on the west elevation of the canopy, for a total of 231.38 square feet of wall signage for items 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8.
Good evening. If you could start with your name and address for the record, please.
Yes, my name is Kyle Unbody at 841 Longmeadow Lane in Findlay, Ohio. I'm out of town tonight.
Thank you. Please tell us about your request.
Yeah, so I'm here on behalf of Sheets, and I work with Rebecca. She had a family emergency pop up, and we kind of sorted out that I would be here in her place prior to this evening. So here with Sheets, it's very similar to the previous variance request that you've heard. We're coming in with a gas station, and based on the nuances of the zoning code in Warren, it's not exactly laid out in a way that is written for commercial use that would include a drive-through, a retail store, and a petroleum station, such as the Sheets layout. And some of those hardships come from looking at sign pumps for the ground sign area, or looking at drive-through signs as part of the ground signs. So just a quick summary, we went through this proposal with Sheets, and while looking at the Warren zoning code, we realized what the intent of the zoning code was to keep kind of a clean and limited cluttery sign. So we went through our typical Sheets signage packages, and we dialed it way back. Normally you would see 24/7 signs, MTO, additional signage on the pumps as standard with other service stations throughout the country, and we cleaned it up to be what we believe to be the minimum adequate signage, with that signage being the branding on the pumps for our Sheets station, the Sheets logos on the wall sign, and then the drive-through signage to help facilitate the traffic flow in the drive-through. Everything else we had removed. I think pretty much that sums up the request of our variance. Does anyone have any specific questions about any one of our signs or any part of our layout?
We'll address that after we
Okay.
close the public portion of the meeting. Do you have anything else you'd like to add before I do that?
Not at this time.
Thank you. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak on this item? Not seeing anyone, I close the public portion of the meeting. I'll turn it over to the board for discussion.
Mr. Chair?
Mr. Storrs?
I guess I just have one question, just because, there's been a number of Sheets locations that have been in front of us. So I know, like, at the Mound location, at the DeQuinder location, we've given variances on the trash enclosure, but we've never seen anything on signs. So here I see something for signs. I'm just wondering, and not to say that you're the individual that might be involved in that, but I'm just wondering, are we gonna see them come back at the other locations asking for signs now, or?
I'll let you speak.
Yes, they will be coming at each location for signs. As the permit processing and all that is a different process for signage and site plan. Usually when you have new developments, they always come separately for the two different aspects. I know Brian is currently working on the one for 12 Mile, I believe, right now. So I believe that sign package is in and on his desk.
I believe that to be correct. There are several of these Sheets proposals. I work throughout the Midwest on Sheets projects, and there are several in this town that we kind of went through.
That's the only question I really had.
Mr. Chair?
Mr. Lindsay?
So I know we get a little bit hesitant when we see a total amount of signage and square footage of signage. I think this is really tastefully done, however. And I was actually driving from Ohio on Route 2 coming north, and I saw a Sheets being installed there. And it was really tasteful. It's one of the nicest gas stations. So I really think that the city would benefit from it. So I know we get a little queasy seeing so much signage, but seeing the layouts, I mean, it's well done. I know it's branded all over the country. I think this would be a really good addition. I yield the floor.
Thank you. Any other comments from the board?
Mr. Chair, real quick, I have a quick question for Steve again. Sorry, Steve. So it says there's a variance granted already on for a pylon sign? Is that correct? I'm trying to figure out which one
Which date are you looking at?
which date it is, but it doesn't appear to be on here.
You have it right there.
So I see one for 360 square feet, 30 feet tall, and then there's one for 26.6 by 156 inch, 28.8 square feet.
I know it was Pampa's existing sign that was the one that was probably
Another one?
January 8th, 97.
Is that the one? Because it's 360 square feet and he's,
So we can, if the petitioner agrees, we can rescind all the previous variances besides the dumpster enclosure and is there a chain link one too?
yeah, they're both included on the same variance.
Yeah, except for the ones issued in 2024.
11/13, yeah, everything could be rescinded except the one granted on 11/13/2024. Would the petitioner be okay with that?
Yes, yes.
I have no objections to this if we rescind everything except the 2024 variance.
And the last thing we would want is a coin-operated amusement device on the property. So, I mean,
That makes two of us.
it's just another money-making idea, so anyway, but I'll yield the floor.
Any other comments or?
Nobody else has anything to say, I'll make a motion. I'd like to make a motion to grant the petitioner the variances requested as presented on the agenda and to rescind the variances granted on January 8th, 1997, August 14th, 1996, March 25th, 1981, and the variance granted on 7/8/81. Due to the fact of the size and shape of the lot and new project needs a sign variance and not a detriment to the area.
Support.
We have a motion by Secretary Jersey, support by Mr. Perry, to approve the request as read.
Mr. Jersey votes yes for the reasons stated in the motion. Mr. Perry?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Starovich?
Yes, for reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Assessor?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Clift?
No, it's excessive. According to our ordinance, it's almost 3 times what's allowed.
Mr. Watts?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Lindsay?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Chairman Sapaya?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion. The request has been approved.
Thank you.
Thank you. Last but not least, this brings us to item 13.
Applicant Metro Signs and Lighting, Representative Paul Dieters at Metro Detroit Signs, common description 23830 Groesbeck. Variances requested permission to, 1, install 2 5-foot 2-inch by 50-foot 258.33 square feet each awnings with signage on them for a total of 516.66 square feet of wall signage. 2, retain a 78-inch by 120-inch 65 square foot painted wall sign on west elevation. 3, retain a 24-inch by 72-inch 12 square foot wall sign on east elevation. 4, retain 78-inch by 120-inch 65 square foot painted wall sign on east elevation. 5, retain 257 feet of 10-inch high decorative design element stripes around perimeter of building. Existing wall signage of 142 square feet and proposed 516.66 square feet of awning wall signage totaling 658.66 square feet with an additional 257 feet of 10-inch high, 214.17 square feet of design element for a grand total of 872.83 square feet of wall signage.
Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Paul Dieters. I am with Metro Signs and Lighting. Excuse me, 11444 Colts Avenue in Warren. And with me this evening is Mr. Darren Odie, the owner of the property.
Good evening. 23830 Groesbeck Highway, Warren.
Thank you.
Great.
Please tell us about your request.
Sure, you bet. Thank you for your consideration this evening. We're before you tonight because of a severe windstorm that took place a year ago. And since then, Mr. Odie has been working with his insurance company. In fact, just this week, the roof of his building was finally replaced. So he's been going on at this for a year, and part of the damage that was done is that the awnings on the front and the back of his building, one of them was completely destroyed and actually blew up onto the roof of the building, and the other one was torn. And what we're before you this evening is just to try to replace exactly what was there prior to this storm having taken place. And I know, while it may sound like a lot of signage, we would ask that you'd see is that it has been there a long time. They've been in business since 1969 in the city of Warren. They do a nice job keeping up with their facilities. And the other thing is there's no, excuse me, there's no ground signage at the site. It's an irregular shaped, pie-shaped lot with very difficult sight lines. So I think what's there is appropriate, and it's not really overstated for what they're looking to achieve. So, thank you.
Thank you. This is a public hearing. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak on this item? Not seeing anyone, I close the public portion of the meeting and turn it over to the board for discussion.
Mr. Chair, real quick, to the petitioner. How you doing, Mr. Dieters?
Great, thank you.
Is this going to be illuminated? I know probably the Napa sign's illuminated, but the awnings are going to be non-illuminated, or?
The awning is illuminated.
Oh, it is illuminated.
And as were the previous ones, but really the only part that lights up is the text of it. So the vast majority, more than 2/3 of it is really it's just a blue field. So.
But you do raise a good point, though, about it's beyond unique. I mean, anything on Groesbeck is a challenge to try to deal with property line-wise and stuff like that. And this place has been there as long as I can remember. I've been in this town a long time, but to his statement of trying to keep some kind of advertisement on the building, it's kind of tricky in that location with cars whizzing by trying to make the light and all that. I mean, you go by the building, probably not even see it without any signage and not even know there's a building there. So I think this is very tastefully done. I know your business does great work and is very professional, and the site's always been clean. Anytime I've driven by it, I've never seen anything out of order. It's a tough little piece of property to try to get good advertisement on. Initially, I wasn't for retaining the Rent-A-Wreck logos that are on the side of the building, but again, how else are you going to advertise? You know what he does. He does multiple things there. He's not selling cars. He's renting. He's got an auto repair place, tire repair place, so multiple facets to the business that need to be expressed in a tasteful way, which I think this actually does while incorporating the old aspects of the building as well. So again, it is a big number, just like the last couple, but to the petitioner's defense, I kind of see what he's talking about. So does the canopy stay on all night, or do you shut it off with business, end of business? Or?
We do leave it on at night because night vision is just as hard. In fact, it's being without it for a year. It's incredible how many people, in our neighborhood, I think there's a lot of rental houses compared to where it used to be permanent residents. Mm-hmm. How many people say, I didn't even know you were here. So that's the problem. Night vision is a great thing to have, of course, when
Right.
people are flying by at 55
Right,
plus.
right, on both sides, so.
Yeah, and the other thing I like to add is that pie shape, and we're so close to the street, even the side view is, you couldn't put signs on the side to really be seen coming down the street on either Groesbeck or Shaner.
Right.
And that's a big part of the problem, right? So, yeah, you've
I
got.
mean, unless you're sitting at the light, you don't really.
Right, I mean,
see it, so.
it's such an odd shaped building. How do you
Yeah.
get the people to see it?
No, I agree. So, just with that's my comments on it, so I'll yield the floor.
Thank you. Any other comments tonight? I think we have been pretty generous tonight with giving out signs, and this has been there for a while, and he's just replacing what he had. And it's gonna be a lot nicer than the older worn sign.
And thank you for taking the Goodyear off the side of the building too, so.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Appreciate that.
It's gone. I do too, trust me.
Any other comments or motions tonight?
No other board members have anything else to say? I'd like to make a motion. I'd like to make a motion to grant the petitioner, the variances requested as written on the agenda due to the fact the size and shape of the lot is not a detriment to the area.
Support, Mr. Assessor.
We have a motion by Secretary Jersey, support by Mr. Assessor to approve the request as read.
Mr. Jersey votes yes for the reasons stated in the motion. Mr. Assessor?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Perry?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Starovich?
Yes, for reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Cliff?
At 872 square feet, that's 21 times what's allowed by ordinance. I'm gonna have to vote no.
Mr. Watts?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
Mr. Lindsay?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion.
And Chairman Safaya?
Yes, for the reasons stated in the motion. The request has been approved.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much,
Have
and
a
I
good
appreciate
night.
all your hard work. You guys don't have an easy job.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
New business? Any new business tonight? Don't have any? Motion to adjourn?
Support. Motion to adjourn.
We have a motion by Secretary Jersey, support by Mr. Strowitz to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned 8:58.